Welcome back, everybody. Renowned South African playwright, novelist, poet and writer Professor Zakes Mda is in South Africa to promote his first solo art exhibition on home soil titled Mirrors and Washboards, as well as his new book, Wayfarers Hymns. Mda spoke to Lebo Serache about the two projects.
Mda, welcome to Morning Live.
Oh, thank you so much.
I want to talk about the space that we're in, where we are looking at washboards and mirrors. Give us a background and a synopsis of what washboards and mirrors is about.
Washboard and mirrors, the title itself comes from the materials that I predominantly use because all my paintings, or most of them, are collages. And in these collages, then, it means that I bring together materials from South Africa, such as some of these mirrors, some of the fabric that you see I use here, and from the culture of where I live, the washboard, you know, which is used also, besides it being a washboard, you know, as a domestic thing, is also a musical instrument there, which is used in various cultures in the Appalachian region, which is where I live. So the washboard has a number of different functions, such as those, especially the music part. So as you will see when you look at this painting, these paintings, you'll find that that theme of music, you know, runs through a number of them. So the washboard then becomes part of the music theme.
I want to talk about the music theme, and there's a few of your works that you pay homage to, Ntate Masekela.
Yes.
Talk to us about that relationship and what it means.
Well, my relationship with Hugh Masekela, who was slightly older than me, and therefore I call him Bra Hugh. He was a very good friend of mine, and we did quite a few things together, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But in addition to that, you know, he was a very loving man. It would happen, for instance, if he had a gig in New York. And in America, I live very far. I live in Ohio, which is a very rural area, you know. If he had a gig in New York, and on Monday the clubs are closed and he's not playing, he would take a plane to see me in Ohio just to cook me pap, because he was an expert, you know, in the cooking of pap. Just to cook me pap, and then maybe, you know, salmon and things like that. And then we'll just be there. The next morning, he gets into a plane, he goes back to New York to continue his shows. So he was that kind of a loving person, you know, who would spare no expense just to say hello to a friend. So it was that kind of a relationship, you see. It was also a relationship, of course, that was brought about by our common art. You know, he loved art, he loved paintings. And when he visited me in Ohio in my studio, he would be enthralled. He would just be there, you know, just looking at the art. And I always hoped he was going to buy one or two. He never did. He left us before I could persuade him, you know. But even here, there are paintings that he loved very much. The Man with the Green Blanket, for instance, he loved that painting. And so that was the relationship.
I want to talk about music and how music is a big feature also in the new body of work, the new book as well.
Yes.
Music, somewhere there's a marriage between this body of work, the exhibition, and the book. And music is a huge factor in this.
Yes.
Talk to us about these two worlds.
Well, I'm very happy that you make that observation, because the new novel is really about the Famu music, which is very popular in Lesotho, but also in South Africa here. And my novel is centered around those musicians, you know, their conflicts, their loves, their hates, and all that. And of course, the story itself unfolds in the real-life lyrics of specific popular musicians of the Famo genre. So whilst I was writing the novel, I was also painting. And therefore, a number of these paintings are influenced by the novel itself. As the story unfolds, then of course, the painting would be suggested in my imagination. As you can see here, there's a lot of paintings, you know, a lot of paintings with accordion, the playing of the accordion, the playing of the drums, and so on, because those are the predominant instruments of the Famo music, the concertina, you know. So you see a number of paintings that pay homage to those instruments.
I want to talk about how there's somewhere where you're quoted as saying that this novel had haunted you, and, you know, it had to be done at some point. You could no longer ignore it. What is it? What is it? Was it a dream? Was it a voice? What is it that said, Peter, you can no longer put this aside. This must happen. This must be written.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because I had decided that I was done with writing novels.
Yes.
Not with writing, but with writing novels specifically. Because I would continue writing. Writing is my livelihood. So I would continue to write plays and film scripts, but focus mostly on writing for children. That's what I wanted to do. But then when the idea for this story came unexpectedly, I just had to tell the story. And it came when I heard of people who were dying in Lesotho from these battles of the musicians. And I was amazed because this is a genre of music that I've known for many years, even when I was a child growing up in Lesotho. I didn't associate it with death until when I heard about these Famo music gangs and how every week there were funerals in the Mafeking district, which is where the greatest of the Famo musicians come from, of people who are dead, musicians, their followers, the chorus boys and so on, who are dead as a result of the turf wars, territorial wars of these musicians. So that idea demanded that I should narrate it as a novel. So I ignored that because I decided that I was not going to write a novel anymore. But it haunted me so much that I either had to write a novel or run mad.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have that choice, which would you choose? To run mad? No, I said, no, I'm going to write this novel because it's haunting me too much now.
Yeah. In the book as well, Famule's funeral as well is one of also the subjects that is part of the book as well. Why was that an important bit of that we needed to, in a way that you also introduce Toloki in there? Why was that such an important aspect of our reintroduction to who Toloki is, who we know from Ways of Dying?
Well, you know, Famule was in fact a real-life musician. Was very, very famous. Then he died, and I mean, which was a great loss actually to that music. In my story, a follower of Famule who wanted to model his life on Famule's life and Famule's music goes to Famule's funeral. There was such a funeral.
Yes.
But of course, the fictional characters that I place in it are from my own imagination. You know, that main character who wants to be like Famule. Then it occurred to me that there's all this death that is happening here. I do have a character who deals in death, who is a professional mourner. Why not bring him here to Lesotho to mourn the death of these musicians, beginning with Famule? and then the rest of the... So that's how Toloki, the professional one, found himself there. I was already in the middle of writing this novel when the idea came. In other words, it was not the initial plan that there will be Famu, I mean, there will be Toloki in this novel. It was only when I was faced with all this death that I said, yeah, no, Toloki will work very well here in this novel.
But you also say that at some point Toloki had to come full circle because at some point when you were writing, Toloki was supposed to be a trilogy at some point.
Yes.
So this presented itself with an opportunity to give it full circle. Was that how it sort of came?
Exactly. Because, you know, I have Toloki in two novels, In Ways of Dying and in Sion. And then, you know, people would talk of the Toloki duo or duet, meaning those two novels. That doesn't sound beautiful. I thought maybe one day I will write another novel where Toloki features, so that I have the Toloki the trilogy, you know. But I didn't know what novel that was going to be. This one then presented itself and said, hey, you can bring Toloki here, and then you'll have your trilogy as you had always wanted.
This very last novel happens in Lesotho, where your roots are there.
Well, yes.
Yeah, and it sort of ends where your roots are.
Exactly, yes. I and this by chance. But also I see it as, you know, something that that means more than just chance, because I'm also very superstitious.
I was about to get into there. Okay.
Yes.
Did it then make it easier to write because of the
culture,
the background and the where what Lesotho signifies to you?
Oh yes, yes. I mean, this was the easiest novel to write because, first of all, I was writing it in my language. Never mind that is in English. It is actually in Sesotho, you see.
Wow.
Yes, I wrote it in Sesotho, which to you or to somebody else who will read like English, but even when you read it as English, it's Sesotho English, you see. So I was writing in my language with the rhythms of that language, you see. But then I was writing it in English because that is the language of my market. Yeah.
I want to talk about the characters in the book, and I want to speak about how you managed to intertwine the, you know, the stories of Mudiehi, you know, Toloki, as well as Noria. How important was that in the book, and how important was it to make it effortless that these worlds intertwine?
Other writers will tell you that the characters took over and told the story. They mean exactly that. The story is going in a particular direction, sometimes a direction which you didn't pre-plan. Why? Because the characters have taken over and take the story in the direction they want. And if it's a great direction, then you let them go. It's only if you think, no, that direction is not good, that you force them. Because now, at the end of the day, you are the creator. You are in the God business. You are their God.
Yes.
Then you say, no, you want to go there, I refuse. I want you to go the other direction. So you still must have that control over them.
There's that complexity, though, of the relationship between Mudiehi, Noria, as well as our main character.
Yes.
Talk to us about unpacking that complexity and why that was important.
Yeah. Although I don't want to have too many spoilers.
Let's not spoil it for them.
Yeah, so that people must not know what's going on. But in any case, that's an interesting question, because that's one of the things, the parts that I enjoyed writing most. You see?
Yeah.
Even that one, by the way, happened by chance, because I never planned that. When Noria comes, then there will be that same-sex relationship, you know, that lesbian relationship between Mudiehi and Noria. It was just, you know, something that I thought, yeah, why not? When the idea came, you know, even though it was destroying the relationship between Toloki and Noria, which was a bit painful to me, because that's a whole you know, in their relationship. But then, you know, there was that twinkle in my eye that said, yeah, no, that's fine. Let these women fall in love.
Yes.
You see?
Let's see where it goes.
And let's see, exactly, because I didn't know where it goes at that time. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Well, that is renowned South African playwright, writer and poet, Professor Zakes Mda.